gift through His word. It's God's gift through His word. It's God's gift through His word. It's God's gift through His word.
All right. Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing? Well, I know I'm going to owe you guys another live because this is falling on Wednesday, and that means I missed my Tuesday because I was slow to get my stuff together. But today we're going to just go ahead and talk about you made the decision. Yay. So I was thinking on yesterday, which was this was supposed to be for, I was thinking about decisions of relationships. And we were speaking about that the other day about relationships and you selecting who you want in your life and who you don't. Well, once you've made that decision, yay, right? So I had for myself an experience that really caused me to say, you know what? I am done with this experience. I'm done with dealing with this. And I went out and I cleared out a lot of old contacts, about 329 contacts to be exact, old people, old places, just things that I wasn't using anymore. It didn't serve me. I hadn't talked to these people or organizations in years. And it was just sitting there holding up space. I don't know why I kept it, didn't go through it and get rid of anything but 329 contacts removed, all of which I knew I wasn't going to be talking to any of these organizations or people again. It just sat there. So I made that decision, that conscious effort to be like, okay, I don't need this anymore. This doesn't serve me. It's not good for me. And some of this stuff and some of these people, I don't even talk to. We haven't talked in years. So those are the things that when you make a decision and you make it for yourself and you understand that, okay, I know that these people, and we were talking about this on the other live about having toxic family members and toxic friends and toxic anybody, that when you have those people in your life and you really select to choose for yourself to not have them in your space, that's okay. They don't they don't need to be there if you don't want them there. And you get to say who is in your life and who is not. And that's not a bad thing on them or a bad thing on you. You have a prerogative, you have a choice in the matter. So when people try to take the opportunity to tell you, well, you know what, you're not such a good person because I've called you, I've texted you, and you just don't want to call me back or text me. Well, sometimes people may have had a particular pattern of behavior in your life and you've watched it. You've sat back, you've observed, and they haven't shown any difference or any change. Why then would you want to continue on still allowing them the opportunity to still be in your life in whatever capacity they were at one time? I realized for me that I wasn't going to do that. And at one point, and I'm going to use my family members because this is for me, when I have my family members who can at many times and in different ways be extremely toxic and over the top in a very detrimental way to myself. They've been that way for years. And to think that me taking a step away was a bad thing, I started reeling over that before. And I took my time away. And then when I entered back into their lives, it seemed like nothing had really changed. Their attitudes hadn't changed. Nothing had changed. It was just a moment where I needed to remove myself and grab some sanity for myself and some peace and some calm and working on myself, and to come to find out that they're exactly the same. And the things that I had left and the reason why I separated, those things were still there. And sometimes people are not going to change. So it's really up to you to decide that you're going to make the decision for you, and you're going to draw that line in the sand. Say, you know what? Yeah, I thought I wanted to entertain this, but I really don't. I thought I wanted to really be around these people, but I don't. Because you know what? They are exactly the same. And sometimes it can be hard. That can be hard to deal with because you love these people, especially when it comes to family members. But you don't have to just say the people that you were born into, that family, that's the only family you can have. There are people that come into your life, and I've experienced this for myself, that there are strangers and friends that love me more and treat me a lot better and actually care about me more so than my family that I was born into. And they would never try to really try to hurt me and do things that would set me up for like failure. That's not their intent. So when you know that and you have people around you like that that really want to be in your life, they're going to show you. They want to check on you. You want to check on them. It's a reciprocal friendship or relationship, and it's good. You know, you might have your disagreements, but there's nothing that's going to derail the whole friendship, and you'll never talk to each other again. I have said this on podcasts, and I've said it and I mean it, that I value my friendships. I care about my friends a lot. And I'm very thankful when the Lord sends me friends into my life, friends that understand me, friends that I can relate to, because they are the ones that I want to deal with. I want to talk to them. I want to know how they're doing. They want to know how I'm doing. And that's one of those things that I've always searched for. And I had it when I was younger. You know, some friends when you go through, middle school and you go through high school. I had those friends. But to pardon me. Ooh, to my shock and amazement, it really it really became apparent to understand when there are people that claim that they want to be your friend, and then they want to use you for something that you have. And you're like, oh, wow, I thought this person really wanted to be my friend. And you have to look out for that because sometimes you don't get the memo till a little later, but it's better you get it later than you get it never. And then you can understand if they really wanted to be your friend or they were using you for whatever. And then you just stop messing with them and you move on. But see, you've made the decision. You've made the decision into what capacity that person will be in your life. So you don't have to wonder and you don't have to worry about, okay, well, this person I'm trying to figure out. You always will be able to know after you get given people an opportunity to show who they are, and they do, and they will show you who they are. They'll show exactly who they are. And after you know, then you can make that decision whether to keep them in your life or not and move forward. And I found that for myself. And as sad as it is sometimes, and sometimes it hurts because you want to have a relationship with, and for me, with family and sometimes old friends, excuse me, that I used to deal with, but they're exactly the same. And for me right now in my life, I don't have the energy to really deal with people bringing toxic attitudes, behaviors, and the like into my life. I just don't want it for myself, and I just don't need it. And I think there's a lot of us that put up a lot longer with bad behavior from people and say we just chalk it up to, oh, well, it's family. They're always like this. I remember that's one of the things my my dad would say about my mom. Well, your mom, she's always like this to excuse her bad behavior. But that doesn't excuse it. That doesn't excuse how she is. People know when they're wrong. They know how they are, and because they've gotten away with it so long, they continue to move in that same manner. And it shouldn't be something that you accept and tolerate, and people know better, right? Pause for the cause. I can get myself some water. So with that, I just realized that I don't want to do that. I don't want to tolerate someone's bad behavior and the way they treat me in a negative way and like, oh, well, they've always they've always treated you like that. So just understand that's just how they are. They've done that for years. That's just your mother. No, absolutely not. As a child, we never have much say. But as an adult, oh, you have say. You have say now. You have say of who you want to come into your life and who you don't. And you make that conscious choice. And if you don't want them in your life, you don't have to have them in your life. And nobody needs to guilt trip you into bringing them back into your life. And if you choose to not deal with them again because you tried and they went and returned your you're once again trying to extend to them one more time to see if they've changed and they haven't, then you can just move in the manner in which is good for you. And you made that decision, and yay, yay, you made that decision. And it's not bad. Sometimes we think, oh no, I better keep in contact with my family because that's blood and I want to make sure that I keep in contact. No, mm-mm, no, not for any money in the world should you tolerate being talked about, being laughed at, being given all different types of weird and mis miscommunications or whatever they want to call it, misunderstandings that they deem that you have when it's really on that their side with the toxic energy that they're bringing to you. But you want to see in them, I love my family. I want them to be in my life. I want to do that. Well, you also have to remember. I know you want to forgive and forget, and we need to forgive, right? But I would dare say, don't forget. Because if you forget, you will find yourself repeating that same thing that you were doing before that caused you to want to leave or separate or not really engage that much with them again. You want to remember and you want to keep that in your head like, no, I remember these things that they did. And there's nothing wrong with remembering. That helps you maintain the data and the information you have of how they've treated you in the past. And if there's been no change, would it be far-fetched to say they'll do the same thing or try to figure out another way to try and harm you in a different way? It's not a far stretch. So for those of you that might be thinking, "Oh, I don't wanna, separate from my family or this very toxic friend because we've been friends since 6th grade." No, there is a time where you have to assess that friendship as well. And if it doesn't serve you and that person was always doing and saying the same thing, and they didn't really show you to be their friend, as they said, and always put other people before you, but you were supposedly their friend, and they just didn't show that. You're like, yeah, no. Sometimes after you've done and had those friendships, and I remember I had a friendship like that for 20 years. It was a 20-year friendship. And sometimes I would have loved to have kept that friendship. However, things were not the same. And when people just continue to do the same thing over and over again, you can't look past it and then keep going and just keep the relationship because now you're keeping it because of longevity. Now you're keeping it because, well, we've known each other forever. So I should just still keep this person because of the years. Don't do that. Don't do that. Now you can do what you want, but my suggestion was like, don't just keep someone around because you have years of history. Sometimes the very people that you've had years of history with, it's time for them to move out of your life and you open up that space for someone who will come and really want to be your friend, really want to care about you, really want to be involved with you. And they're not going to tolerate you. They really want to talk to you. They would really rather have you on the phone and have a good conversation or see you in person because they want you in their presence. They want to be around you, not someone who's just tolerating you. You don't want that. What kind of friendship is that? You're tolerating me? Well, then we don't need to be friends. I don't want you to tolerate me. I want you to want me in your life. But if you don't, well, you need to cut ties. And it's not a bad thing. So I just wanted to just get on here to remind you that no matter if it's a friendship or it's a family relationship or it's an intimate relationship with a significant other. Any of those dynamics, if those people aren't serving you and they are very toxic to your very being, you make the decision. You make that decision for yourself. Pardon me, I'm getting so many frogs right now. You make that decision for yourself and you realize that no, I don't have to have this person in my life. And sometimes there might be behaviors that even you yourself might want to change because you said, you know what, it's not bringing about any kind of fruit for me. Pause for the cough. Let me get myself some water before another frog comes. So you want to stop some behaviors too. And that's okay if you want to take a pause away from a certain behavior. If you want to stop that, that's okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. You're choosing for yourself. And we got to stop being afraid to make decisions because it's like, well, if I stop this, they might they might think about me in a different light. It doesn't matter if they think about you in a different light. You're doing this for you because at the end of the day, you have to deal with you, right? You have to deal with your mindset. You have to deal with how you feel in your body. You have to deal with how you feel in just who you are. And if you feel uncomfortable, if you feel like, yeah, this is not giving me any kind of fruit that I would desire, and you just don't want to participate in something, then that's okay. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it at all. And maybe there will be someone down the line that you can engage in that wants all of you and not bits and pieces and parts of you. Sometimes we give out parts of ourselves to certain people and like, here, you can have that part. And that's the only part they want. And then after that, like, that's all I want from you. So myself, I know I want someone who wants me in totality, wants all of me, my laughter, my funny, my quirky, everything. It doesn't want just bits and pieces of me because nobody wants to do that. You don't want to have someone that just wants parts of you because what kind of friendship would that be? And the same thing with family members that you don't want to just be the person that they laugh at all the time. You don't have to be that person and you don't have to stand for that. So you made the decision, yay, stand in that, enjoy it. Don't feel bad about it. Some people can't handle that you've made a decision, but it is what it's going to be, and you're going to move in that way. And you take your power back and keep your peace and your sanity. Because let me tell you, There's nothing like the peace that the Lord Jesus provides. I'm telling you. You can't buy that from anywhere. And I'm not just talking about the peace in your just in your home, but in your mind too. You have a peace and calm in your mind, and you're not stressing about anything. You don't have any anxiety or worry. There's a peace and a calm. And I thank God for that for me. For a while, for some years ago, I never would have that. I was just always having chaos and anxiety and worry. And not to say that I don't worry every now and again. I have little things, but it was never like how it was before. I was worrying and anxiety over every single solitary thing. It was at a 10. It was at a 10 all the time. It was always up there, up there. And then when I started to realize I need to really trust in the Lord for real, and not just do lip service and just let things be. And sure enough, things have worked out better for me when I just let go and let the Lord do some things. Now I have to do my part, mind you. I'm not sit back and just like, okay, Lord, I will sit here and do nothing while you do everything. I gotta do a little movement, a little motion. I have to do some things, right? But while I'm doing it in faith, and I'm trusting the Lord as I go forward. That's all. I'm doing it in faith as I go forward and enjoying each and every moment that He has blessed me with. Because once again, y'all, every day is not guaranteed, nor is it promised. So when you wake up to a brand new day with new mercies and grace, give God thanks and praise. And there's not a lot of time to be wasting with people who are going to cause you issue in your life and cause you problems. And sometimes, even for me, I have to decide, there's some things that I participated in. And I'm like, yeah, it's a kind of a dead end for me. And there are those relationships that are really good in the way that they're at, excuse me, in the way that they are. But then there are those relationships where, like, yes, we're good friends, but I never hear from the person. But do I still want to hold on to that? I don't hear from them for years, and then they pop up. Do I want to maintain that? And my answer would be for me, no, I can't maintain a friendship like that where I don't hear from the person and I'm still supposed to just continue to reach out and they never reach back out. That's not really a good friendship to build anything on. And then for me also, I participated in behaviors on my own by myself. Like, that's excuse me. Yeah. These frogs and coughs, they just come up and I'm like, no. But as I was saying, these different behaviors and things that I've done, sometimes I need to take a step back and be like, is that really what I want to do right now? Because if it's not, then I just take a break and I don't have to, and it's okay. And sometimes I look at myself like I offer to myself, I just say this to myself in my mind, like I offer more than sometimes people that I let into my life can see. And sometimes they only see a certain part, and that's the only part they care about, which in some regard can be sad. Because for me, I know eventually, and I pray about it a lot and not pray to obsessiveness, but I pray eventually that there might be a time later on in my life as I get older, whether that's in my late 40s or in my early 50s or wherever, if that's even a thing. But I do pray because that is something on my heart that one day the Lord might send me someone who is my fit. you know, there is, I know, and I believe that there is someone for me that the Lord does have, and He is my right fit guy. He's not going to like, hey, I totally don't understand why you're like this. No, he will understand. He will understand. And I believe because I love to communicate. I'm a communicator that I would want that reciprocated in, of course, my significant. I would want him to be able to communicate with me because it's nothing like trying to communicate with someone and they just look at you like, uh-huh, right, okay. That's just infuriating to me, and I can't. And I break down and just shut down like, "Okay, well, that's not what I want." So I even know the kind of person that I want in my life and the kind of friends that I want in my life that we communicate, we hang out, we enjoy, we laugh together, we do things together. And I experienced that with a couple of friends just over, uh this past weekend, and it was fun for me that we went out and hung out and ate some nice chicken. And then I went to Hobby Lobby and I had a good time. And I had a good time with these ladies, and we talked, and it was nice and it was wonderful. And we all wanted to hang out with each other because we all want to be around each other. That's the thing. When you're around people that they really want to be around you, you will hang out with them because they really want to be around you. Not the opposite. I don't really want to be around you, so I'm kinda doing this because I wanna show face or I wanna act like I wanna be around you. No, I don't want that. I don't want you to be fake. If you don't wanna be around me, that's fine. You don't have to be. You don't have to be. And on the same token, when you have someone that understands that you are a precious friend, then they'll treat you as such, and you'll do the same thing as well. It's been some time for me as I've been thinking over old friendships, especially when it came to dealing with certain men for me. And I'm not here to blast men. That's not even what this is. I was just going over in my head about some people that said they were friends, and they happen, of course, men friends, and sometimes when I think back, it was only a superficial friendship, and it was only for them to get something. And sometimes it didn't work out, and I would know that, like, okay, this is not a good friendship because it's very one-sided. And I always felt I was chasing after people to want to have them in my life. And like, I don't want to chase after anybody. I don't want to do that. If you're a friend, you'll be a friend to me and I'll be a friend to you, and it'll be a mutual exchange. And I don't have to chase you. You shouldn't have to chase down anybody for them to be in your life or for you to be in theirs. It's either they want you in there or they don't. And you make the decision and you're like, okay, this is how this person's going to be in my life. And I want this person there. And if you don't, that's okay. My thing for me really is my family. And right now, I'm okay. I'm cool on them right now. I don't really at this moment, I'm really not sad really about not having them in my life. And I'm making a decision because for years I recall and I know and I remember and I had enough. But you have to make that decision. Nobody has to force you to keep people in your life and you don't want them there. You don't have to have them there. So when you make the decision, yay, you get to figure out and navigate for your own self and for your personal choices in life what you will allow and what you won't. And if you keep going back and forth in your head, did I do the right thing? Did I not do the right thing? You need to really figure out what you want for yourself. And then when you make that decision, just stick with it. Don't go back and forth in your head. I don't know what I should do. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Make your decision, stand 10 toes down in it, and then keep pushing forward. When I was going to get my divorce, I wanted to make sure I made the right decision. And I did. And I kept pushing forward, even though it took a long time to do because it just did. But I didn't run back and like, oh, I might have made a mistake. No, I knew when I started pushing that paperwork, like, there's no undoing that. And push forward until I got it because I did not want the complications and I did not want the mental anguish. And literally, my mind would stop thinking about everything because I knew while I was still married, it still bothered me that the man was doing all kind of stuff. It was still bothersome. But when the divorce said it, I was like, yes, I don't care what you do. I'm not your problem and you're not mine. And I don't have to have you in my life either. You can go and do whatever you're doing. It doesn't bother me now. And I 100% don't care. And you get to that point, right? You get to that point. And for me, that's what I am realizing that I have value, you have value, but if people don't see that value, then you need to make sure that you remove yourself. And if that's not what it is, then you can figure out another way to maneuver. But for me, I know I have value and I want others that I want in my life to see that. And if they don't, well, then they don't need to be in my life. And also, if there's certain things that I'm engaging in that's like, you know what? I need to reserve a certain behavior for something for later, then I'll do that. Right. And I'm not talking about eating ice cream because, man, lactose intolerance is a thing. But there are certain things that I wanna engage in when, I save that for later. I reserve some things for later, and I hope one day if, like I said before, I still pray and hope, and I know that one day there will be that person for me that will take all of everything that I am, and he will appreciate it. He won't want just one part, one specific tiny part, like, "I like that little part of you. That's the only part that I care about." Uh-uh, and it won't be a dead end. It won't be a dead end relationship. It will flourish, it will blossom, it will grow, and it will be beautiful, and I can really be, looking forward to that, not obsessing about it, but look forward to that one day that I'll have that person in my life and all of me will be like, "Yes, I'll take all of that." Wrap it up, bag it, package it, I'll take it. For so long, I have been used to, uh, people just wanting certain aspects of me, and, I had done that. I had done that for a while, giving out certain parts of me, whether it was being encouraging to someone or whether it was just being listening or a soundboard for someone. But that's all they wanted. They didn't want anything else. Like, you're a good listener. I just want to tell you my problems. And then I don't hear from them again until they have another problem or or whatever it was, or teaching them something and then they run off and do whatever. And after a while, I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done just being a small portion in someone's life. And you cut ties where you need to cut ties. And that's okay. So once again, this is about you made the decision, yay. So whatever that decision is for you, in whatever capacity, with whatever relationship, you make that for you and stand in that and know that you have value and you have worth. And if someone can't see that because they only want to take a part of you and say, well, I only want to be around you for this. And they're not going to tell you that. You can kind of know that they're only around you every so often when they want to talk to you about some problems, but they won't want you to tell them your problems. It's just all about them. You kind of know what time it is. Right? And there's other things that you will be able to gather from how they've been dealing with you and how you've been dealing with them. That you're always just doing the one thing and that's all they care about. And like I realize there's some things that I need to stop too because for me mentally, it puts me in a different space, a space that I shouldn't be opening, a space that starts me thinking about other things. And I realize I need to stop that and just not engage for a long time. And I feel good about that. I'm in a really good headspace. And my crafting, I'm going to be buying some more of. I think I showed you guys those crafting berries. I did actually. And I think I'm going to buy some more when they have some more different kinds out. And then I'll be attaching those. And as soon as I do an envelope and a card, I will show you guys because I have to make some more cards anyway for some some crafting, and I might get some more gel pens because my black page journal, which I love, it's almost time to get another one because I've still got a few more pages in it. But I do use that to also journal, and journaling is also good, you guys. So I'm not gonna get off into my crafting stuff because this is not what this is. Like you didn't say this was crafting talk. I know. I just went off on a light tangent, but I just wanted to encourage you and just remind you that you got value, you've got worth, and whatever decision you make for whatever relationship in whatever capacity it is, and having those people in your life, you've made that decision. Yay. Just stick with it and don't falter. Don't be wishy washy. And know that there is, if you're also looking for someone, I'm sure that eventually you'll have people that will come into your life and they will realize, man, he or she is amazing. And I want them in my life as my friend or maybe something else. Who knows? But for friendships, for sure, there are people that can see this person's a great friend and I want to hang out with them. I want to get to know them. And sometimes your friends treat you a lot better. As I've said before, I've had strangers and I've had friends that have treated me 100% better than my own family. Sad to say. And they've looked out for me. They've taken care of me when certain things didn't work out. And it's been a blessing. And I love my friends a lot. So I'm just thankful that the Lord put certain people in my life and they are a blessing to me. And I pray that I'm a blessing to them. So I'm going to get out of here. A big kiss from me to you. Remember, I love you with the love of the Lord Jesus Christ, but the Lord loves you immensely way more than I ever could. And remember to be blessed, motivated, and always inspired to do what the Lord lays on your heart. You guys take care and have an amazing and blessed day. Take care now. See you guys later.
God's gift through His word. It's God's gift through His word. It's God's